Hey everybody, this is Latrice with Not Broke for Long, and I'm finally doing my debt confession. Now, full disclosure, I have been really stalling with doing this, and when I get to the part when I show y'all the debt trackers, you'll see how I've been stalling. But when I tell y'all I did not want to make this video, but I figured out a way to make it a little less painful. Now, I will say, I am already hard enough on myself. I have been seeing a few videos of people finally doing their debt confessions, and they also talk about being hard on themselves and having a hard time talking about it. And I've been making comments on their videos saying how it was hard for me to talk about mine and accept mine also. Actually, this is a combined debt. This is me and my husband, which makes it worse. It makes it worse. But I really been seeing people have the courage to embrace their debt, and they've been able to talk about it, and I have not been able to talk about it. And in fact, when I first had the thought of doing this video and writing all of the numbers down and seeing the totals, I would start crying. So I didn't know when I would be able to even make this video without shedding tears about it, but I'm doing it because I've been making progress. I figured out how I can make it a little less painful, and I need to actually do it in order to track the progress. So what you're going to see first is the beginning balances as of August 12th. That's when I really started recording everything, and when I started actually making the extra payments was back on August 12th. So here we go. All right, first, the smaller amounts you're going to see are actually the remaining balances after I consolidated the credit cards. So this was my lowest balance as of August 12th. $69.47, and the interest rate for this was 29.99%. And the minimum payment, it was $145. The next card was mine, Capital One credit card. What was left on it was $126.86. This was a 28.99 interest rate, and this old minimum payment was $90. I had a dental bill that popped up out of nowhere for $173.20 that had no minimum and no interest rate. I had an Amazon credit card. Again, this balance was also higher, and what was left was $212.26. And actually, majority of that balance was the 0%. I did the 6-month financing. You get to buy, I guess, make a larger purchase and split it into 6 even payments. And then you don't have to pay interest on that. So that's what I did, but I did it with a lot of transactions, so it pretty much added up. Anything that wasn't in that was 29.99%, and my minimum payment at the time was $143. Credit One was my husband's card. His balance at the time was $307.40. 28.99% was his, and his minimum payment was $30. He also had Georgia. He owed the state $457.20 was that total, and there's no interest and no minimum payment. And his second Credit One card was $504.19. And this was also 28.99%. And this was also a $30 minimum payment. He had an old Comcast bill back before we left Chicago. Someone else was supposed to take over and they didn't, so he was on the hook for that amount, and that was $870. No interest and no minimum payment. My problem child card, this was when things got extremely out of hand. The amount was way higher than this. Majority of this got rolled into the personal loan that I'm gonna talk about. And that was the balance. It was $975.55. Well, that was left over from what I consolidated. And the interest rate on that card was 24.75%. And this was when I realized that I really needed to get it together. This was right before I started my channel. It was when I saw this minimum payment. It was $495. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I opened a Tally account because, let me just say, I have been paying off debt with more debt for as long as I can remember. And one card you don't see here is Chase. And I paid off Chase with Tally, and then I used it again for a few things, and then I ended up paying it off again with the personal loan. So Chase is on here a couple times. You just don't actually see it listed. So my Tally balance was $1,848.23. And I opened this last February, and it was about, I think, $4,500. So I have been paying that down. Also, another another American Express card I had was in here too. And I actually didn't use that one again. This is a different card. So the interest rate for that was 20.74%, and the minimum payment at the time was $90. And this was my husband's old personal loan. So he was affected by the pandemic. He was furloughed. So some of his old bills just kind of fell behind because he was having a hard time at the time. So this balance is $2,136, and there's no interest rate and no minimum payment right now. And I consolidated a few things into this Discover credit card. So this is a 0% card that I just opened in order to, actually, this is where the Chase card is. It's in this card. So this balance right now is $2,457.12. And I actually don't know the minimum payment yet. But even though it's way down here, it's going to be a priority. So I'm going to always pay more than the minimum anyway. Okay, my husband has a ER bill. So around this time last year, he had a medical emergency. We had no idea what was going on. He was actually supposed to be my designated driver. I was getting my wisdom teeth taken out. He took me to the dentist's office, and the entire office started running to his aid. No one knew what was going on, but he started looking like he was about to pass out. He started losing his color. His heart rate dropped. Nobody knew what was going on. I started panicking. Y'all, I really thought this man was about to die. But at the time, because of course it would happen at this time, he was waiting on his insurance to kick in. And of course, he didn't have insurance at the time. So this ER bill, and we have tried talking to whoever we needed to talk to at the hospital. They've actually already knocked it down a lot. And this is what's left. This is $6,433.95. They're going to get this whenever they get it. We're not really focusing on that. It's not a priority at all. But we have, like I said, he's already tried to negotiate and talk to whoever he needed to talk to. And that's just what it is. That's just the balance. So the car loan, I have a car. I actually traded in my other car and got this one. so that I can try to bring this down a little faster. My starting balance as of August was $14,090.02, and my interest rate is 8.7%, and my minimum payment is $298. Okay, and now I'm at one of the painful parts of this. Like I said, life kind of got out of hand. Around this time last year, I was working the worst job I ever had while making the most money I ever had. And anxiety started kicking in. I actually had 2 anxiety attacks while working. And I realized that it's not worth it. And for the first time in my life, I quit a job with no backup plan. I had some money in savings. I actually drained my savings. I had a money market account. I drained that. I had an ally. I still have the account, but there's no money in it. I drained that. And then when I did get another job, which, hold on, the second part of this is I had a job lined up, but I didn't start it for 6 weeks. So I went 6 weeks with no paycheck, draining the savings, trying to keep up. And then when I finally did start the job, it was less pay. And this is when lifestyle creep happened. I was still spending money like crazy, as if I still made the money I was making before. I have an obsession with books, so I was still buying books like crazy. And then I would realize, oh, now I don't have money for groceries, so I would start using credit card over and over again. It was this card that I racked up completely. It got out of hand, like I said. So this was a mix of anxiety, inflation, and lifestyle creep, and whatever. All of these things led to this loan, $39,000. My interest rate is 19.97%, which is high, but it's also this high because this amount is high. My minimum payment is $1,047. Now, all of these minimum payments, all of these except Tally, rolled into this. So there really is no snowball, because like I can't say this 145 is going into this, is going into that, like, and then doing a snowball from there, because it's all in here now. So yeah, there's that. So technically there's 2 more lines, because we also have 2 student loans. And this is how I'm able to do this and make it a little less painful, because my student loans are high. I have 2 degrees, and they have been in forbearance deferment since the pandemic. I started my master's degree in 2018, and then my undergrad loan was in deferment, and then I graduated in the pandemic, so they've been in deferment the whole time. And now, of course, I'm kicking myself because I did not take advantage of the payment pause, which, again, being blind, not really being aware of what was going on financially, and just living life and completely being blind to the debt that I was, or the hole that I was digging myself into. So I didn't take advantage of the payment pause, and neither did my husband. So our student loans are up there. And now that interest is kicking in and my payment got lowered, I have to see what happens with the total. So I'm aware of, or I'm pretty much accepting the fact that my student loan balance is probably going to just keep getting higher. And so is my husband's, until we really get ready to attack it. And I don't want it to get higher, but I'm going to just accept it for now. and just make the minimum payment that they're giving me. And I'm not going to track the student loans. So I'm not going to write them down yet because they will probably be higher than they are right now. And what I don't want to do is let my student loans ruin the progress I'm making on everything else. So I'm going to add all of this up together, and then we're going to see where we are starting. And I'm going to call this phase 1 of the debt payoff journey. There it is. This is the consumer and medical debt. So this is what we're focusing on right now. I will say, full disclosure yet again, this is not even a third of the total. That's how high my student loans are. So this is what we're working with right now. So I'm gonna say consumer and medical debt total is $69,661.45. All right. So let me show you my trackers. All right, so these are my trackers, and I got these from debtfreecharts.com. So I have the tracker, and I have the a debt payment tracker, so I could track the date, the amount, the balance, and this is where I'm gonna track an updated goal payoff date. So I have the original up here, and then I'm gonna update the new payoff dates in the notes for each. So this is what I meant when I said that you'll see when I get to my trackers how much I was stalling, because literally all of these are just colored. I colored the entire tracker because I just wanted something to do in the meantime. So I have Tally, I have the Georgia tax bill, Comcast, the X1 credit card, and the personal loan, the Discover card, the ER bill, my car, and the personal loan. And these I had for the totals, but since I'm not tracking the student loans right now, I'm not gonna fill these two out yet. I'm gonna wait until I do a combined debt pay down or confession and update, whatever. Once I really start focusing on the student loans, then I'll start filling these trackers out. But in the meantime, I do have this one. So for the total, for what we're focusing on right now, this is what I'm going to fill in. Okay, y'all, I did it. I got through the video. So like I was saying, I'm already pretty hard on myself, a person in the interwebs who loves leaving negative comments. I know this is dumb. I know I could have done things differently. My husband knows already. We've already battled with that. Some things he did on his own when we weren't together. I did some things on my own when we weren't together. Some of this we did together, like our student loans. We did that stupid stuff together. So, I know. I already know it's dumb. This is why I had such a hard time talking about it and making this video. But I knew it was important in order for me to really track my beginning, so I can really show you guys the updates and the progress, because this was an important first step to take. So I did it. All right, so stay tuned for the updates that I have for August as well as September. Please like, comment, and subscribe so that you can be updated on when we get this moving. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.